It's bull bar time, let's go.
What is up guys, welcome back to another video working on our budget Landcruiser 120 Prado build.
This thing has come a very long way in a very short amount of time. If you are new to this series, feel free to go back and watch all of the other videos. But we've done a bunch of work on this thing and I think it's looking absolutely fantastic. The new wheels really set the build off. Just a quick update, I have put the spare wheel back on with a proper tyre that actually holds air. I painted the rear cover black. I think that looks pretty tidy, but now the one thing that is left to do, of course, on the car, the one thing that looks a little bit manky is our front factory bull bar. Of course, I could have gone ahead and cleaned this bull bar up and left it on the car. It doesn't really look too bad, but it doesn't really suit the look that we are going for on this car.
The picture that I had in my head when I started this build was kind of all blacked out, super tough looking, but really clean looking. I think the wheels really fit that description really nicely, but the bull bar obviously doesn't.
So, here we have our $1,000 bull bar kit from Ironman 4x4. They didn't sponsor this video at all, they didn't give me a cheap deal. I paid full price for this, $1,000. And I think it's actually a pretty awesome piece of kit for $1,000. So you get the bull bar, you get the bash plates, which is pretty cool. LED lights that go on the bull bar, indicator lights which are also LED that go in the bull bar, but clearly you have to do some wiring, and all the bolts and whatnot that you need and brackets that you need to fit the bull bar. Now, quick disclaimer, I've never done this before, so we are all going to be learning together on this one. And I also went ahead and grabbed, one of you guys recommended that I went ahead and grabbed some LED lights for the headlights as well, so we've gone ahead and done that. Thank you for that suggestion. They will be going in today as well, so fingers crossed we haven't bitten off more than we can chew.
At the end of the day, cars are just nuts and bolts, so it's best not to get intimidated by the process. You just slowly tackle it one bolt at a time and eventually we'll have this front bull bar off. So of course we will have the before and after shots at the end of this video so you can make your own decision and have your own opinion about which bull bar you liked better, stock or aftermarket. But right now, let's get to work.
Just trying to figure out how to take the bull bar off. These plastic things come up, so they're just one Phillips head screw under here and then they lift up. And then 4 bolts, 17mm right here, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same on the other side. Loosen those, and then we go under the car. Booyakasha. We've got 1 bolt here, we've got 1 bolt up there, there's like the side bracket things, and then obviously you need to undo the lights, otherwise you're going to rip the wires off. And then, I think, from what I can see, the bumper bar should kind of pull off, which is super cool. And so far it seems a little bit too easy, so I'm waiting for that 1 bolt. That's going to make this job take 2 hours instead of half an hour. But I'm gonna check you guys on time lapse and see if we can get this front bar off. Let's go. Alright, that's off, and I'm very happy to report that was much easier than expected. Look how high this thing looks with no front bumper on it. Looks badass. So the tools that you will need for this job are, we have a 17mm socket. I just used it on a power bar, but obviously you can use it on a ratchet. Needle nose pliers to undo the fittings on the back of the lights. Phillips head screwdriver to undo this plastic thing right here. And a 15mm spanner that goes on the back of, so the front bolts 17mm and the back bolts are 15mm. And that's all you need to remove the front factory bull bar, which is very surprising to me.
I was prepared for a long, hardy battle there, especially with the rusted bolts that we had. They're pretty freaking rusty, but they didn't pose any type of threat at all. To be honest, I loosened them off and then they were just finger tight to take off from there on in. So happy as Larry with that one, but we are not done yet. Now, one thing I love to do is check weights of things, as we did with the wheels. So we're going to do that with the bull bar as well. I've got my kitchen scales here, so what I'll do is I'm going to weigh myself. Let's do that now. 69.2 kgs. I'm trying to put on weight at the moment. Working hard in the gym, but it's not that easy for a skinny guy like me. So now what I'll do is I'll hold the factory bull bar whilst I'm on the scales, and then we'll obviously subtract my weight, and that'll be the weight of the bull bar, and we'll do the same thing with the aftermarket bull bar. I think the aftermarket one seems slightly heavier, but the factory one is surprisingly quite heavy, so let's see where we're at. Alright, I've got you guys set up in front of the scale because it's very hard to film while holding these freaking heavy bull bars. So here's the stock bull bar, ready? 103.7. So the stock bar weighs 34.7 kgs. Now let's test the big steel boy. I think it's going to be a little bit heavier than that. 108.5. So that's 39.5 kgs for the aftermarket bar. So that's 1 kg difference. Honestly, I thought that the aftermarket bar would weigh a lot more. Now that's not super accurate because obviously we've still got these fittings that need to come off from the stock bar, big steel boys. And then we've got this bar that goes on from our aftermarket bar. So although, probably a little bit of difference there, a little bit more weight there. And then of course we've got the bash plates that go on as well. So yeah, maybe the bar add another kg or two to this one, but still a couple of kgs for the aftermarket bar. It's quite insignificant, so I'm not too mad at that. Hopefully that means that the front doesn't sag too much when we put the new bar on. Dang, they're heavy as hell. Alright, so we have all the factory stuff off officially, and we are ready to get going with our new stuff. Basically, this bad boy, I can't lift it with one arm as we are filming, but this goes up here. So I'm going to test fit it up here. There's a couple of L brackets that look exactly like this, but they gave us brand new ones. So over here, these fit on as well. So we're going to go ahead and test fit it, and then I'll see how we're going to lift the bull bar up. As you can see, I'm a one-man band by myself, so I've got to take my time with this so that we don't frickin' drop this thing on my toes or something. But yeah, let's fit up this first bit first and kind of see how it all comes together. So the first bar is test fitted, just sitting there at the moment. We'll do everything up once we know that this is all where it needs to be and on there properly, because again, I've never done this before, so everything just has to be test fit first. Before we go any further and test fit the actual bull bar, I'm quickly going to polish our headlights because it's much easier without the bull bar in front of them, obviously, because they're looking a bit faded at the moment. So we'll get that job done now. I'm quickly going to spray the grille and then we'll go ahead and test fit the bull bar, which I'm freaking pumped about, so we'll get those jobs done now. The excitement is definitely building. Our satin black paint is drying on our grille. Headlights are polished. Very happy with them. They look fantastic, much better. So now it's test fit time of our bull bar, which means you guys get to sit back, relax, and watch me struggle like hell as I try and fit this thing up all by myself. So enjoy this next segment. I realized I had the camera set at a really crappy angle while I was putting that on, so I'm sorry, but she is sitting in place, kind of, obviously. You need to actually adjust it and make it all fit properly, but that was actually fairly easy. So far, this whole install has been much easier than I first assumed it would be. Quite easily for a single person to lift this on. And you can just sit it on top here, because there's a flat piece right here, so you can actually, so I just jacked the bar up a bit, and then I actually ended up just lifting it up and over and sitting it on top, and then you just put it in the right spot, slot your bolts through, and just chuck the nuts on the other side just so it won't fall off, obviously, while you're just adjusting things. But so far, so good
So now I'm going to wiggle it into place properly. Might use the jack actually, and then just tighten it up. It comes with some rubber stuff, which clearly goes somewhere. I believe probably around the bull bar, like around here, and then seals up against here nicely. So far no cutting needed. It looks like it fits up perfectly to our flare, the stock flare on the car, which is nice. So actually I'll probably, yeah, let's fit it up, chuck this stuff on as well. It kind of just creates that nice seamless look between the headlight and the bumper, and then we'll pull this stuff off and then we'll kind of see what we do next. I'm literally taking this step by step because there's no instruction manual. I think there might be one on their website, but it's much more fun for you guys to watch me do this without any knowledge at all. So that's what we're doing. It's like putting a puzzle together. Good fun. So let's adjust it and get it in place. You. So I think it is in place where I want it to be. I did the bolts up at the front. I ended up using 2 jacks to kind of level it out, which I'm pretty happy with. So hopefully it doesn't fall down now when I let this go. 1, 2. So far, we are looking absolutely fantastic. So now I'm going to go ahead and chuck the rubber seal on, and we'll move on to the lights. We are well on our way to having this bull bar fitted. Everything is coming along super nicely. Really taking my time just trying to make sure that this thing is absolutely perfect when it goes on. I forgot to mention earlier, and I'm sure some of you guys are wondering about the winch and whether we're going to put one on. Yes, and I know that we'll probably have to shift the bar forward to put the winch in. Actually, maybe not. There's a lot of room in here, so I don't know how big winches are. I'm a freaking novice at four-wheel drive stuff. But yes, we'll be putting a winch on. I just don't have one yet, and I'm a rookie, so I haven't put it in before putting the bull bar in. But hey, we'll get one in before we go four-wheel driving, definitely. But we've got our front lights in the bar. I pulled all the plastic off. Oh, wow, it just looks so good. And I went to plug the plug in, which is here, and it doesn't fit in the light. So I'm gonna have to chuck a new plug in that. So I have to go to JCar in the morning and get some wee plugs so that I can make them work, because it's just slightly different. Looks like it's almost there, but just not quite there, which is all good. So I'm gonna fit this other light. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw the grill in, and then I have to go to the in-laws for dinner, so I've got to call it a night. But yeah, let's go ahead, chuck the light in, chuck the grill in, and call it a night. Beautiful fresh painted grills in. Our halogen headlights are in. They were super wood stall. Unfortunately, you do not get to retain the factory dust boots, but I don't think that's much of an issue, although I'm sure you guys will let me know whether it is or not, because four-wheel driving, obviously you're getting a bit more dirt everywhere, so maybe that is an issue. But the headlight, as it fits in, seems to like have a bigger ring, so it actually like blocks off the hole, so hopefully no dust or anything gets in there anyway. But that is us for tonight, guys. I'm not going to close the bonnet yet and show you guys how it all looks together, because we're going to do that tomorrow. You're just going to have to stick around to the end of the video to see kind of how it all looks come together. So I'll see you guys in the morning for a little bit more hard work and hopefully a lot of satisfaction. See you then. And just like that, we're back. Had an awesome sleep, feel great. Back into day 2 of the bull bar install. So we pretty much have one job left to do, and that is our bash plates. Off camera, I have wired these lights in here. They're currently yellow. I'll change that up. I'm gonna put LED lights in those as well, because We've got LED headlights now and it looks a bit funky with the yellow lights, but hey, for now, we're gonna be happy with what we've got. So the bash plates are fairly simple. They just bolt up under the bull bar. They look like they fit pretty easily, but obviously we've got some dirty stuff going on under here, which is gonna look kind of weird once we bolt the nice new bash plates up. So I'm gonna take this plate off right here, give it a quick clean up and spray it black, and just spray a couple things black under there, just so once we bolt all this up, because obviously the bar sits high, you can see under there pretty easily, and we just want it to look, you know, nice and tidy, at least for starters. Obviously we're gonna get this truck dirty and stuff when we take it full driving, but so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's go. Absolutely filthy. Alright, our bull bar install is officially finished. Plates look sick. I'm very glad that I sprayed that underside black, because that would have stood out like an absolute sore thumb and would have looked like shit. So I'm pretty happy with that. But let's shut the bonnet and see how this thing actually looks completely finished. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Holy shit. That looks just so freaking good. This has absolutely blown my expectations out of the water. And I had a vision in my mind when I picked the Landcruiser up of how I wanted it to look at the start of the build. It was something like this, but I just never thought that we'd get it looking this awesome. But that bull bar at the front really has just changed the whole car. Painting the grille black, absolutely awesome decision. These bash plates underneath just make it look so cool, and the car looks so much higher now with the bar like that, and also it looks so much more modern now, which is awesome. The LED headlights at the front also just add that touch of modernness. But we've just achieved the exact look that I was going for. Super tough, but also a little bit elegant. I'm absolutely stoked with this. That bull bar, $1,000. It's amazing what you can get for $1,000 these days. Fitment seems awesome. I would say that it needs to come up slightly on this side, but I'll get someone to help me. I struggled a little bit with aligning it absolutely perfectly by myself. Difficulty of install, I would give it a 6 out of 10. It's actually fairly straightforward. You just got to take your time and get it right. I'd say put aside a solid 6 hours, I reckon, to get this done. It took me a little longer, but I'm filming, and when you're filming stuff, you got to set up the shots and all that stuff, and it just takes time and adds a lot of time onto the job. But of course I want to make great content for you guys, so it doesn't bother me one bit. Now obviously there's two spots here which look very similar. I'm assuming the winch goes either here or here. If we can get it down here, I will probably see if I can find a light bar that fits super nice and schmick in here. I prefer that over the massive spotties that poke out the front. I like everything just to be super neat and tidy, but as it sits, absolutely over the moon with this thing. I reckon we're in the vicinity of about $9,500, including purchasing this thing, all of the mods we've done to it so far, to where we are right now. We've got one more video that we're going to be doing on this thing in terms of mods before we move on to finishing my Datsun 280ZX. If you guys are new to the channel, I know a lot of you are, this thing is my forever car and I've been meaning to finish it off for a while now, so we're going to be moving on to that. But you guys will be pumped to know myself and Rex H, who's another YouTuber, he's building a GQ Patrol at the moment. Awesome dude. We're going to be taking these tough rigs out and going forward driving with them, which is going to be an awesome experience. I'm an absolute rookie when it comes to forward driving, so you guys will, I'm sure, be super entertained by my lack of knowledge and my overall inexperience with four-wheel driving. As always, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below, so feel free to chime in there. The link to the bull bar is in the description below. If there's any other parts that you guys are wanting and I haven't linked them, hit me up. I'll chuck them in the comments for you. Thank you guys so much for the support on this build so far, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. You. Peace. Bye.